where you have to ask guys, you can report. It's contract related. John's speaking with his representatives, been doing it for a while. He'll continue to go, and when they work it out, I'll be pumped to see him. Go ahead.
Trent Williams is obviously quite good, quite important. How concerned is it that he's not here?
It was something I knew could be a possibility. I was hoping that he would be here, but I knew it could be a possibility, and I feel pretty confident it'll all work out in the long run, and he'll be here, and we'll get on the same page with everything. But it's just one day of practice, and I think Trent will be all right in this few practices.
What time it is, y'all? I know what time it is. It ain't no tomorrow, man. Don't count on tomorrow. Hey, it ain't no secret. If we gonna win, it's gonna be in this group. It's gonna be with us. We the soul, we the engine that make this go. Feel me? We can dominate. 3 steps left. Count this one. 3 steps left to the big goal we want, man. Lock the in. Give it everything, man. Everything you got. Let's go, man. 6-1-3, 1-2-3.
The San Francisco 49ers have a problem. All-Pro, 15-year vet Trent Williams has been a no-show, and it appears there is no timeline on when he will be back with the 49ers as added training camp practices commence.
We got to talk about this. With that being said, let's get into it, y'all. Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Ryan Tigey, back in action. Ladies and gentlemen, John Lynch, Kyle Shanahan, Parag Marate, they got an issue on their hands. Trent Williams, the all-pro offensive tackle for the San Francisco 49ers, has been a no-show at training camp as padded training camp practices commence. Trent Williams is still nowhere to be found, not in the building. And that is a major issue. I think I'm stating the obvious here, where Trent Williams, that guy, he's a fucking difference maker. If you listen to any of the players, not only just on the 49ers, but across the NFL, whenever they do their top 100, it is almost consistent every single time. Players will talk about how unbelievable Trent Williams is. And as 49er fans, we know. But with Trent Williams' absence, that is something that came out of legitimate left field. The second we saw Kyle Shanahan get to that podium and got asked a question about Trent, where he was at, I was under the assumption, or I was hoping for, he had some obligation with his family, something like that, because we've seen that happen before with players and specifically Trent. But no. It's a contract issue, which is why Trent was MIA, not in the 49ers building. Trent Williams is an absolute tone setter for the offense. Who walks out of the tunnel leading the team onto the field? It's Trent Williams, who's a captain. Trent Williams is a guy, regardless of the age that people like to talk about with him being 35 or 36 years old, he is an all-pro offensive tackle, and he's a left tackle, which, as we all know, as fans, is one of the most important positions outside of the people that play quarterback. And what's crazy to me is that we just didn't hear a peep about this. Literally nothing. So he took the opposite approach of what a player like Brandon Ayuk is doing. Brandon Ayuk wanted to make it out there known to the public. Hey, here's my side of the story. Whereas Trent, a 15-year vet who has made a shit ton of money throughout his playing career, we didn't hear a peep. We heard nothing. So that's interesting to see the dynamics of how players at different stages of their career, how they choose to go about things. And so with that, what does that mean? That means, unfortunately, Brandon Ayuk just got pushed down the totem pole once again, because the 49ers, they don't have any options. This Trent Williams situation is identical to Nick Bosa. The 49ers, as we all know, they like to negotiate, and they drive a hard bargain when it comes to negotiating table and giving players extensions and signing them to long-term deals. And they tried that with Nick Bosa. But ultimately, as we all knew, which is crazy that the 49ers the front office just couldn't admit this to themselves earlier. A guy like Nick Bosa, he's got all the leverage. And what happened? Nick Bosa literally signed like a week before the regular season started. And then, of course, when that happened, because he didn't get any training camp reps, we saw a, in quotes, down year from Nick Bosa's standards, with 10.5 sacks in the 2023 season. So I pray that the 49ers don't fuck around with this one. They need Trent Williams. There are no other options. You'd have to be blind to not see who's got the power position in this contract negotiation. It's big boy Trent. And he is clearly standing firm, standing strong, even though he's getting fined $50,000 a day or something crazy like that for missing mandatory training camp. But we all know the 49ers will do the same thing like what they did with Nick Bosa. They will just add that money on for the amount of days Trent's missed. So it's going to be a wash Trent. It's going to do no harm to Trent. So this, again, further accelerates. The 49ers do not have time to fuck around with this. They got to get Trent signed. They got to get him in the building. It was in 2021 that Trent Williams signed a 6-year extension. If you guys remember, he was an unrestricted free agent at that point. And who else was offering Trent Williams a deal? It was the Kansas City Chiefs. And Trent Williams called Kyle Shanahan personally and said, hey, get to this number and I'll sign. If not, I got to sign with the Chiefs because they were offering more money at that time. Kyle Shanahan got it done, but Trent Williams, he had other options. Every team in the entire NFL wants Trent Williams. And so even though, yes, the 49ers have him under contract, he technically becomes an unrestricted free agent in 2027. So he's got a few more years. So then what's the issue? Well, turns out there's no more guaranteed money in his contract, which he wants to change, especially considering his age at 36 years old, being in the league for 15 years. He wants more stability. And you can't blame the guy when it's clear as day, without question, not debatable. Ask anybody in the entire NFL when you just listen to him talk. Trent Williams, he is that guy. He is the best. He is the top shelf product when it comes to offensive linemen. Not only just offensive linemen, that guy's an unbelievable athlete. And so with that, I don't want this situation to happen again where the 49ers try to act like they have some type of power or they're trying to get clever and cute with the way they're structuring their deals. Just get it done. Because you know what happens when a guy like Trent Williams misses training camp? Well, not only will the 49ers be having some random playing with the ones at left tackle with pads on, who else is not benefiting from that? Trent is definitely not benefiting from it, even though it's not worrisome that he's missing football practices, because we all know Trent, he can go in there and he could play. He could strap the pads on and fuck up any defensive end that's in front of him. But you do need to get that callus, regardless of how long you've been in the league. You hear players talk about it all the time. Training camp helps you build that callus. But back to my initial point of who doesn't benefit from this, the 49ers defense, they don't benefit from it because Nick Bosa, whenever he's lined up on the left side, is going to fucking destroy whoever's playing left tackle. And Brock Purdy is going to get training camp sacked every time he drops back. It's not even debatable. Nick Bosa is going to have a field day on whatever left tackle they decide to put out there until this Trent Williams thing gets resolved. But you always hear that saying, iron sharpens iron. Nick Bosa and Trent Williams, you don't think that has been absolutely instrumental to the success that they've had the past couple of seasons as the 49ers with them working against each other, whether it be one-on-ones or literally in 11-on-11? It has. Nick Bosa's talked about it. Trent's talked about it. So you're also not only impacting the offense, which is obvious, you're also impacting the defense because this is when valuable reps, when players put pads on, this is where players start to develop that football callus of bangs and bruises, but also it's when they put in work. This is literally preparation for the upcoming regular season. So there's not much time to dick around here. And what makes this 49ers offense go? Literally, what makes this 49ers offense go? When you look at the run game, the outside zone run scheme, you have to have a special type of lineman to play in this offense. You got to be very mobile. You got to be athletic. And Trent has all the traits. He literally has all the traits. He's fast, probably the most athletic guy on the field, period, anytime he steps in between the white lines. But when you see they've put Trent in motion before, you see Trent go absolutely destroy linebackers. You see him get to the second and third level downfield blocking. And then, of course, when there's a drop back pass, you never have to worry about some potential pressure or a sack coming from Trent. Because not only can he just body most of the defensive linemen that he goes against, he's also extremely smart. How many times have we witnessed in football games where you see the opposing defender on the ground because Trent does his little hand swat and then just literally gets the defensive lineman flat on their face on the turf. And then Christian McCaffrey just busting right behind that, going 20 to a house call. Trent is the engine to the offense. He gets everything going. He's the captain of the team. He's the tone setter. He's the enforcer. And so you need that guy to be happy and get him back onto the team and in the building. And, you know, I'm sure this would have happened regardless, for sure, that without any guaranteed money, Trent Williams would have asked to have his contract reworked. But the 49ers, they just did this for another player on the team, Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, same situation, still under contract. He was still the highest paid running back in the NFL. But because of the value and what he does on the field as well as off the field, the 49ers, they gave Christian more money. Rightfully so. I love that they did that. But then you got to realize, yeah, this could have a domino effect if it wasn't already going to happen. I still believe it would have happened. Trent Williams would be doing this, but it gets in players' mind. Hey, you just rework this guy's contract who's under contract with the team because of his outstanding year. Trent Williams is sitting back like, I'm that guy. I know what I bring to this offense. And so, of course, it just helps facilitate the situation of Trent Williams wanting to rework his contract. And now the 49ers, once again, are in quite the pickle of a lot of players, a lot of big name players, a lot of dominant players. They all want their money. And so this one, though, I have to reiterate, do not fuck around with this one. Get it done. The 49ers need Trent Williams more than Trent Williams needs the 49ers right now. And I know, thankfully, obviously, head coach Kyle Shanahan, which is the reason Trent Williams came to the team because he loved playing for Kyle Shanahan back in Washington. But my God, the longer this takes, the more nervous I get in terms of we've seen it with other players that are in contract negotiations that don't get done in the latter half of training camp. It takes them a little while in the beginning of the season to get ramped up. And this is a year we don't want that. You have a quarterback who's been playing unbelievable on his going into his third year. Brock's come out and made some cocky statements, which I absolutely love, saying he doesn't just want to win games. He wants to dominate, which I have never been more fired up from a Brock Purdy quote than I have with his recent interview talking about how he wants to be dominant, Tom Brady-esque, not just win games, but destroy opposing teams. So when you got a quarterback in that mindset, you see what he's done in this offense the past 2 years. He needs his left tackle. So I'm not saying anything too outrageous here. I think everybody would agree that let's just get it done. If the 49ers are all in and they're trying to win a Super Bowl this year, well, you do that with essentially the best player on your team, giving him the money that he wants. Just rework the contract. Literally, Trent's a businessman. He's been in the league a long time. I don't think he's trying to house the 49ers and do a highway robbery. He's just asking for what he deserves. He's not even the highest paid in his position right now, when again, the consensus says, without question, Trent's the best in the business. So I don't think he's doing this out of selfishness. He just wants wants to get paid what he rightfully deserves. That is why the 49ers need to buck up and pay that man his money. All right, y'all. I'll be back. Padded practices are here and the football season is officially rolling. So until then, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. Hit me up. Peace.